The lights are too bright for the WNBA. I think that is one of the big problems, one of the drivers of everything that is going on. While the players want and think they are entitled to massive salary increases and chartered flights and all the perks that come with a successful professional league that actually has people watching and tuning in for their games, they believe they deserve all of that. Yet they also somehow think that they deserve to get all of that without all the things that makes it possible, without the actual fans, because these are not fans that they approve of, right? They only want their little small group of very select niched fans that are the same type of people that they are. The fans that were watching the games, which is very few of them, before Caitlin Clark. They don't want anything that comes with the rest of this because keep in mind, obviously, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on in the WNBA with regard to the Caitlin Clark situation that makes it unique. But just in terms of, say, things like fan discourse, right, online, the way fans criticize their own teams, their own players, other players, the way fans go back and forth from fan bases, from teams and players and all of that. It is nasty at times. If you are involved in the NBA, you know what I'm talking about. None of the stuff in the WNBA is any different when it comes to all that, but they sure make it seem like it is, right? The players get messy, they get involved, they play victim, and on and on and on. And they simply can't handle the scrutiny that comes with being a professional league, but they don't seem to understand that all these things that they're getting because of Caitlin Clark, they would not get without all of the fans. So I I have a clip here from Sophie Cunningham talking about specifically coming to the Indiana Fever in terms of Caitlin Clark and those lights. But I think it's also really interesting because I think it applies to the entire league. Let us take a listen to this. By the way, thank you for being here. Appreciate all your support. Y'all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. I won't talk to you later. We're just getting started. Oh man, sorry, it's late or it's early. I don't remember.
Did you realize when you were gonna be teammates with Caitlin Clark that the level of eyes and attention was going to just ramp up?
Yeah, I definitely well, first of all, I got drafted out, like I said, to Phoenix, and you have Diana Taurasi, you have Brittany Griner, who are going to be legends, Hall of Famers of our game of basketball. And so I kind of already felt that a little bit. All of our games were sold out since I'd been a rookie. And so I've kind of been prepared for this. But when I tell you it is like times a million, it is times a million. Like you can't prepare. And you know what? There's a lot of players, and it's no one's fault that they've had to get traded or they've had to go to new teams because they can't handle all this pressure. Some girls from this year, they're like, wow, like you guys are 100% right that there are eyes on you with every little single thing that you do. And it's the truth. And, it can be hard, but at the same time, what an opportunity to like be yourself and to inspire people who are just like you. And so you can look at it as a threat, you can look at it as an opportunity. And I definitely came in here looking for an opportunity, not only off the court, but also like on the court. She's a hell of a passer. You have Kelsey Mitchell, who's a heck of a player, who's going to be a Hall of Famer in the WNBA. You have Aaliyah Boston. And so I just came in with open arms of all of this is an opportunity for me as an athlete and for me to build my brand.
Nailed it. And a lot of people are, I think, resentful of that with Sophie Cunningham, but I really don't know why. If she's a great teammate, then why would you care or be upset that she is also growing her brand off the court, right? I mean, does that make sense? But it's interesting to hear her talk about some of the players that with the Indiana Fever. And look, here's the thing, and I just now again, there's all these other added elements with the WNBA, but in general, some athletes they're not built for the bright lights. They melt when those bright lights come on. You talk about players that get reputations of not wanting to take the final shot, right? And they hide at the end of the games and things like that. And I think that is what we're seeing in general for the entire WNBA at this point. And again, added element, right? You have the jealousy and the insecurity, and you get the racial component and the sexuality component and all of these other things that factor into play as well. But I think also for a lot of them, it is simply they mentally are not ready. Like Sophie Cunningham said, it is tough, but man, what an opportunity. Go out, be yourself, be likable, and great things can happen. I think she just had her shoe. I don't know if it was officially launched, but I think she just had a shoe announced for Adidas. That doesn't happen without everything that came with Caitlin Clark. And that's what I think a lot of these players don't seem to understand. Everything has its upside and its downside. It's kind of like the actors who, oh, they don't want to be famous. They don't want any of this fame, or musicians or whatever, right? They want to play music. But you can't have all of these things that you want from it without all these other things that come with it. And I get sometimes, hey, that could suck. That could be frustrating, but that is the reality of it. And if you want to play a professional sport and you want, for example, $1 million salaries as opposed to, $90,000 salaries or $150,000 salaries, and you want chartered flights instead of flying commercial, guess what? You need more fans to make that happen. And when you have more fans, you're going to have more fan-like interactions and fan-like things going on around your league. So you're going to have a discourse that's get different. You're bringing in real fans to the WNBA for basketball at this point, and real fans do not hold back. Real fans have opinions, and those players, they're not always going to like those opinions. So maybe stop being messy. Stop having to stop going on X and scrolling and looking for all these things and feeling the need to respond and making everything a million times worse. Take all of these great things, see it as an opportunity, go out, just be a little bit likable, and so many great things can happen. And I don't understand why more of these players do not understand that. There's clearly a misunderstanding. Like I said, there's all these other things, but I'm just trying to narrow it down to hey, these are the bright lights. And if you want all these great things, you get these other things with it. But if you handle it the right way, it's really not all that bad. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I just thought it was interesting to hear Sophie Cunningham talk about this with regards to players on the Fever who it seems like are no longer around, because it hit me when she was saying it that it just seems like the entire league is like that. Like even players who aren't under the bright lights of the Indiana Fever, they're now under the brighter lights of the WNBA, and they resent Caitlin Clark because of those lights, despite all of the perks that they now have thanks to her and her fans. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the drill. I will talk to you later.